And we're back. Peace and blessings, everyone. What's up, STEM junkies? Yes, this is the STEM Files, the voice of STEM talent in Black culture. On tonight's episode, me and Tariq are going to chat with Jessica Remo Saul, dancer and entrepreneur. She's going to tell us some very riveting things about how she integrates mathematical formulas and dance and some of the philanthropic work that she does, helping young women kind of pursue different STEM careers. Tune in for more of this dynamic episode after this. All right. Again, family, welcome. Peace, love, blessings. This is the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Yeah, that's right. The dynamic duo is back. I know y'all been seeing just one or the other for the past several weeks. We're just not going to talk about that, though. We're going to ask like I am your wonderful, humble co-host, Jabril Muhammad, aka Jabrilliant Engineer. I am a mechanical engineer focusing on naval ship fluid systems with a background in material science and engineering. I am now joined by, yes, my illustrious co-host, Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. What's going on, bro?
Yes. Thank you, bro. Happy to be back on the screen with my brother at the same time. But like Jabril said, we're not going to talk about that. But my name is Tariq Muhammad. I'm a biomedical, Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. I'm a biomedical research scientist with a background in cardiovascular pathobiology, which is the study of how diseases form in the heart and in the blood vessels. So tonight's show, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, take it over.
No, that's absolutely, man. So look, family, we're not going to talk too much. We have a great show for y'all tonight. Something a little bit different. You might not think about, dance or step and STEM kind of coinciding, going together, but that's why we're going to shut our mouths and we're going to turn it over to our wonderful guest this evening, Remo. What's going on? Can you hear us? How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely, crystal clear.
I have to say that this is like the coolest thing. First of all, this is my first podcast or first YouTube live I've done. I'm like, whoa! Right. I'm like,
so you can tell everybody your first podcast is the STEM Files.
Yes, I'm so feeling myself. I'm checking my angles right now. I'm like, damn, boo. I don't even know what to do with myself. Thank you guys so much for having me. And I love it that it has to do with, what I'm so passionate about. So it's just two things at one. And, God's a blessing for allowing me the opportunity to be here and speak to you guys. I'm so excited.
Yes, definitely. The opportunity is all ours. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, who you are, how you got started, and what Art of Stepping is all about.
Sure. So my name is Jessica Remo Saul. They call me Remo for short. And I'm the founder and president of the Art of Stepping that teaches step through the use of mathematical formulas. So think of the idea of when I started stepping years ago, when I was like 2, I'm gonna tell you my age. when I started doing stepping, I fell in love with it naturally because the power of step allows you to tell your story without music. You are the instrument, and the rich history of it, being a woman of color, being from Afro-Latina, I just felt so empowered. And when I decided to do it in college and continue on through my sorority, Omega Phi Beta sorority, which led me to Omega Phi Beta Foundation, I was really passionate about it. And then someone approached me and said, you should really work with kids and do it as an after-school program. But before I did that, I was like, well, if I'm gonna take from the art, I gotta give to the art. And what I've noticed is a lot of people take from the art and they're like, and they'll make it their own. Like right now, everybody's sampling like 90s music. Like, dude, that was 90s. You're just replicating it. Let's be real. Let's call it what it is. And I just felt I had to give back. So when I started thinking about how I wanted stepping to be respected, and an art form that had its place like ballet, jazz, and hip hop, I wanted to make sure we had our lane. So I decided to create the art of stepping, but specifically, first thing I did was I trademarked it, and I was very surprised when I trademarked that no one owned the word. Like, let that shit resonate for a second. Let it resonate.
Right.
Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm 42.
Right.
How old am I? I forgot my age. Think about the fact, you had Divine Nine. You had so many people out there doing stepping. I didn't create it. I've been doing it for so many years that I was shocked. So I was like, whoop, I got to trademark that, number one. And then when I started creating my system, so like behind me right now is my wall where I have my logo. So if you look at my logo, let me slide here. That logo stands a lot for us. So when I started creating the system, the one thing I wanted was to create something that was written, because ballet is all about documentation. But what happened if you can write down your movements? And I don't know if you're familiar with Leonardo Da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man painting. Yeah. Have you seen them? Yep. Yes. So if you look at my logo, it looks like his painting. Yeah. You see like his painting? Yeah. So Leonardo da Vinci was, for anyone who's watching right now, is a Renaissance man. He came from the Renaissance time, so he really thought outside of the box. And the painting was originally called Vitruvius, but he took it and called the Vitruvian Man. And what he did on the painting is that in that painting, he believed that everything can be documented. So if you look at the circle, the sphere around there, he said, if we use mathematical equations, then everything can be documented. And I swear to God, like I was staring at that and I'm like, and all of a sudden everything just started coming loud. And I'm like, oh my God, I saw these letters, numbers. And I said, well, if I take the person's body and I put letters around their body, like I put letters across their body like that, and then I correlate every letter to a word and provide the letter specific movements, then I can document how they move. But I would have to use the letters of the alphabet to do so that it correlates with basic grammar. And then when I put the letters and numbers together, I can manipulate it. So for instance, if I take the letter A and it stands for arms, it has 7 counts to it. And if I take the letter B, represents bottoms, it has 8 counts to it. When I put them together, if I want to manipulate certain things, like a division sign, right? If I put A together and B, when you put a division sign together, what's half? It's like taking half of something. So I take half of A, which is 3.5. You have to round it up to 4. Take half of B, 8, 4. And that's when I started saying, let's incorporate mathematics to help manipulate the numbers in the choreography. So it may seem like difficult, but for our kids, what are they doing? They're learning letters, and which they know every day. And then they're applying it to numbers. And now once they apply it to numbers, then I add the mathematics to it. But by doing that, I wanted stepping to enter the educational game, because it is educational. It is educational. Right. So I wanted to tie it into mathematics and education, but I also wanted to do 2 things: fight childhood obesity and also fight mental laziness, because we're in a society where everything is about short-term goal and instant gratification. But if I can train you to think and I can train you to move your body, then you're 10 steps ahead of where you're not supposed to be going, but where you're actually headed. So that was like my theory behind it. So I'm very passionate about it, you can tell, but that was the theory behind it. And believe it or not, I was a poli-sci major, but math, just seeing it made me realize the importance of mathematics, So I'm sorry for talking so much. I'm just really excited about it.
No. Don't apologize. This is your show.
Please.
This is your show.
I am so...
This is amazing.
And you know what I have to say? I'm so excited about you guys. When I saw your interview and I saw it, I was just like, I felt like I'm not alone, Right. And being in the arts and being in STEM and the STEAM world, you go into it. So one of the things we did this year is everyone in STEP, let's be honest, is African American or Latino, majority, like 90%. Right. And you got the sprinkle Asians and the sprinkle whites there. I can talk about the whites. My husband's white. It's okay. But you have it. But then when we started, we said, let's go into the dance world and compete doing step routines so we can tell them, hey, we're here, we're present. Everyone there was white. And I'm not a racist person. I don't believe in color. I believe, it's who you are inside, and it's how you raise. Because, when you meet a kid, you're like, I know who your mother is. You know that.
Talk.
You know that.
Facts.
But then when you walk into a room that people don't look like you, that's hard. That
Mm.
Right.
is a very difficult thing when you're telling your kids, go hard, do this, and everything around them is they see themselves and they go to a room and it's not them. And to the point where we went to the World Dance Championship, there was one black woman and myself, and we just navigated to each other. We didn't know who to go to in the room. And I was just
Wow.
like, she was like, oh my God. And we were talking, and I was like, that's when I said, you know what? And that's when I launched World of Step. And I said, I wanted to create a world of step where you don't need to accept me, but I'm going to be here and I'm going to create a world. And we're not going to celebrate just traditional step. We're going to celebrate everyone who uses their body as an instrument to create sound strategically, so that I can bring in Irish stepping, I can bring in drill, I can bring in every single style of step under the world, but they can see us. They can see our style. And now they're entering to our space, but collectively we're more alike than different. But we're placing an international stage for everyone to look at it and respect it and understand that it's an art form and as an educational base. So, which end up leading me to OPP Foundation, why I'm executive director there, is because when I crossed, I just said, if I can volunteer my time and do something for women in STEAM, where create scholarships, but also, have you noticed, like moms, we sacrifice everything for our kids.
Right, right.
Like, I'm not saying that because Mother's Day is Sunday, boo boo. Um, but it's because we gave birth to you. We don't know how to breathe without you. Like,
That's
so we
right.
created
That's right.
scholarships for moms. You know what I mean? And we're now breaking into something called Planting Seeds Project, where we're actually, planting seeds all over the world, saying, hey, we want to help you in STEAM, but we're not going to control your mission. You see, the difference is we can't give you everything. You got to fight for it. So we're going to plant a seed, you're going to absorb it, we're going to see it grow, and then you have to do the rest. So
Mm.
that's like, I try to say everything. I hope I did okay. I'm new to this.
Oh, you
Sorry.
did great. Take your
No, you did
time.
great. You did great. Take your
Sorry.
time. Take your time. I want to take
Sorry.
a step back, a couple of steps back, because first off,
I'm going to need
it is
taking a lot of steps
always
back.
a breath
Sorry.
of fresh air when somebody matches my energy. Because I come
Yeah!
in here, I
Boo
come in here
boo boo
lit
boo.
all day. And when she came on here, I said, "Oh, wait,
Oh
it's
my
time. Let's get
God.
it going. Let's get it
He
started."
Right,
can't
right.
handle us. He can't handle us.
I
I'm
said,
your yin
"Pre."
to your yang. Okay?
That's right. There we go.
He looked like Funk Master Flex in the corner while we're like this. Hola, hola. Right? Yeah. Not too much going on
This
right
is
now.
great. So
Oh
I
my
got to take a
God.
step back. So you said something that was so key. You said if you're going to take from the art, you have to give back. I'm going to take my time with this because there's a couple points I want to highlight. That is so key. People listening, stop being bloodsuckers. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. What do I mean? Stop, learning talents, skill sets, and trying to make yourself to be this self-made man, self-made woman. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I did it. You can do it too. No, you took that seminar. Somebody took
Come
you to
on.
basketball practice.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody gave you maybe a little bit of seed money here and there. Somebody looked out for you when you played outside. Right.
Right,
So when
right.
we talk about becoming experts or high level individuals in a certain field of expertise, we're duty bound to give back. Right. The same way when you deal with money, money was never meant to stay in one place at one time. That's why it's called
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
currency. Current is
Mm-hmm.
that which flows. So it's supposed
One
to
place to
flow,
another. That's right.
exchange hands. So when we're
That's right.
talking about something as beautiful as the arts, as beautiful as dance, step, as one who's danced majority of my life and understanding the impact of imagery on someone.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite styles of dance is crump. And similar to step, it's a very audible and very vivid style of dance that communicates emotion at a very high level. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're able to consume that, you're able to see a story and parse it for yourself for your benefit and somebody else's. And then the last thing I want to say is when you talked about seeing yourself in the picture and these children going to these competitions and maybe not seeing themselves. I want to say something. I think a lot of times people kind of get a bit intimidated when we talk about color. Oh, I don't see color. And I understand what we mean, but if we did a little bit less of not seeing color and more of
Mm-hmm.
appreciating people's color and understanding that everybody has a distinct history, culture that should be appreciated, and for you to be able to learn about he or she and where they come from and their power is for you to become a more global citizen. So if I teach my children that, hey, when you go to these step competitions, understand that you and your Afro-Latina heritage and your Black or African heritage, your mothers and fathers are the trendsetters. So a lot of people took from ancient dance styles and things to do things and innovate
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So wherever you go, know that you're the originator. So see that changes the mentality. I don't walk in nowhere and think I'm a minority. I don't even use that terminology because those who look like you and I are the majority around the world. So I'm not just from Philadelphia. I'm Jabril from planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my thought process when I'm talking to anybody, I'm mentoring anybody, and I love what you were talking about and what you're doing for these children and giving them an outlet. And again, teaching them a level of discipline when it comes to mathematics, when it comes to movement. So I just wanted to say that very quickly. And thank you again for being on the show.
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you mentioned that comment, um, because it is hard. I mean, like, with the George Floyd and everything that's been happening, like, it's not, and I get emotional on it because it's like,
Right,
it's hard. It's just
right, right.
hard because it's like, you don't, you like, how do you look at someone who's black or brown and look at them like your enemy? Like, how do you not look
Mm.
at them like they're human? And then on top of that, we have our own people shitting on each other. So, like, we have our own internal fights, and then we fighting the world. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
this summer with Black Lives Matter, so much happened. Like, if you don't say the right words and you don't say the wrong thing, I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, we went down. Like, my foundation took a lot of heat because we didn't have the right statement and we didn't have a right thing. And I sat back for a second. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm a mom.
Mm.
I'm resonating everything as a mom. I'm resonating looking at my kids. My kids are black and they can't even speak because they were afraid. They didn't have the right words to say because it hurt them. So we all got to take a second and say, everybody has their lane. Some can fight, some can do it through artistry, some can do it with that. But like this revolution, and I thank God for this young generation because they really are changing the world, and I thank God. But we also got to understand that we all got to move in our own lane, and we can't tear each other apart because we need each other, because there's an entire world right now that doesn't know what to do with us because our history has been rewritten so many times. It's just so much going on that for us as individuals, like when you mentioned that to be originators, like we got to be at the point that we're supporting each other. And that's the reason why I wanted to create the World of Step, because I wanted people to say, you don't need somebody to say if they see you, I see you. This is
Come
your
on.
world.
Woo!
Like, this
That's
is
That's
your
right.
right.
world. You
That's
don't
right.
need
Right.
to walk into a room and ask somebody for permission for a place that you've been in. And let's be transparent. In the dance world, a lot of rich history comes from the Caribbean, Afro, like, jazz, tap,
That's right.
like, think about like the richness. We have been, everyone has been touching each other in so many different art forms. So
Right.
are we all? Is anyone really an originator? Like, are we really? If
Mm,
we all came from the motherland,
come
like,
on. Come on.
like, there's just, we have to like resonate. I gotta be honest. I'm so excited to be here because I haven't had that space or that time to have a conversation with like-minded people in a room that's not like that's not like having intellectual conversations. Like, I'm from the Bronx. We can go on the street. Let's not get that twisted.
Let's
But
go.
I
Let's go.
Right.
but I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I'd rather intellectually
Right.
have a conversation with your mind than with your hands.
Right.
But thank
Right.
you. I know I went a different way, but I just
No, listen.
I
No,
just
no,
felt
Look,
that
it.
look.
look, I told you I'm
This is
from Philly, Tariq from New York. So like I said, we can go there and like you said, a lot of intellectual conversations happens on the quote unquote streets. You know what I'm saying? When
that's
you
right.
talk to people,
Yes.
you'd be surprised. You walk by somebody, may not smell the best, you know what I'm saying, may look down their luck, but they'll spit some serious facts and science to you in a second. So, that's not a here nor there. But again, thank you so much for your passion. I can tell that you really ride hard for your business, but for your children and your family. So I really want to kind of get back. I really want to parse and understand this trademarked technology that you use when you're talking about relating these letters to these numbers. Can paint us a scenario, like if we're going through an 8 count, or we're doing writing some choreography or teaching some choreography. How might that look in a given situation?
You want me to show you?
Yes.
If you got it like that.
Bobo! Hello! Looking Funk Master Flex trying to come for me. Listen, I swear to God, I'm gonna show you, and then I'll step in. I'll put it together. Why not? Okay. That's what we do. All right. So here's how we do it. So we take. I gotta get used to this thing. We take letters of the alphabets, right?
Right. So let me do this. I'm gonna change the layout. Give me 1 second.
So we take. Okay, I'll just wait. I love your border. I look so cute. I'm like, oh, have to say that.
Go for it.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Oh, look at you looking like CNN. All right. So don't be offended. All right. So you see where I'm at here, right? So we take the letter. First, we start with the letters of the alphabet, right? So we name each letter and say this is the tops, this is sides. We name them. We give them a name. And then we add, once we give them the letters, we start implementing something that's called movements. So our system is broken down into code, angles, and movements, right? So you know what? I'm gonna simplify that. Do you mind? It'll take me like a second.
No, take your time. Take your time. This is okay. Great. It's like class.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes,
ma'am.
No, you can go. Don't be offended by fun. I got jokes. That's why. You know my.
No, you good. You good.
I got enough jokes for Tariq all the time. So
for James. So trust me, I get it all the time. Go for it.
Okay, because I felt guilty, and then my husband's like, "Stop! You can't make fun of everybody." I'm like, "Why? It's fun." Where this is like, it's. I'm not making fun of you. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so this is how we start. We start with looking at it like this. Every letter of the alphabet is a code, right? And every code has a movement, right? So the letter C has the movement, 7 movements to it, right? And then I'm trying to find myself. The numbers over here that correlates, this is my set. This is letting you know how many times I want you to move. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So all you need to know is the code. Now, when we teach it, we first teach them what a code is, which is all the letters of the alphabet, right? So we give, the letters of the alphabet. For example, we will name one of the letters of the alphabet, and we'll say A equals arms. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. And then we'll say B equals bottoms. It's okay. You guys can copy. You guys can write this down and learn. It's copyrighted. I released 4 different samples of this, so you can do it online for free. So we'll say A equals arms and B equals bottoms. Are we good so far, right? Yep. So they first learn what A and arms are. Now, do you want me to demonstrate now what it looks like?
Yes.
I was going to do it anyway. Hello, boo-boo. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to demonstrate what it will look like. Okay. Hi, super excited to be here. Yes. I have a lot of energy, okay? All right, so if I'm going to teach a letter, I'll say the letter A. So letter A is arms, right? So I break it down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Makes sense to you? 7 counts. Now, I normally wouldn't teach that fast. I would go slow. But does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if you notice, what am I using when I called it arms?
Arms.
Yeah. So it correlates to the actual movement. How many counts did I have? 7. Was that cool? Yeah. Look at you. You are a superstar, Bobo. All right. He's like, oh my God, I feel so good about myself. Yeah. All right. So I'm so sorry. I apologize. I love it.
No, this is great. This is amazing.
Okay. He's like, dance, monkey, dance. All right. So then you have the little monkeys that dance and hit the
right.
My husband says I do that. He goes, you look like one of those monkeys that just walks around hitting. So I'm like, dance, monkey, dance. All right, sorry. All right. So the bottom beat. So for instance, this is bottoms. It's a bottom level. It has an 8 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there's 2 things I want you to remember. I always teach it slow, but I'm very precise on my movements. There's no second guessing what I'm doing, and every movement correlates to a number. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you're with me so far. So now, when I start doing A and B, the next thing I teach them is something called movements. That allows me to document how I want them to move. So a comma equals a 1 second pause, right? So I put the C and I put the B. I can start creating choreography. So I already know this is my chest is a 7 count, and this is B, my bottom and A count. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Right? So then for me to put it together would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
5, 6, 7, 8.
Make sense?
Woo! I'm right there.
Right.
I'm with
That's
it.
fire. Okay.
Now, when I do this, remember, these are my sets. I don't have to tell you how many times I want you to do it, right? You make sense, right?
Right.
So it would look like this.
7, 8. Yes.
Yes! And what you just did is called singing in a beat. So I never have to tell you how fast or slow. I don't even have to stand up and do it. I would say, sing the beat to me. So they would go 5, 6, 7, 8.
7, 8. 2, 3, 4,
1,
5,
2.
6, 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
Yes, and if we can sing together, we will never be able to step together. Now, how do we manipulate the choreography, right? So if I put the letter C here and the B, because this is a numbers game, I can manipulate and change the choreography whenever I want. Does that make sense? So if I'm stopping at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it becomes.
Okay.
Now, we don't stop there because greatness never stops there. We write it down, right? We have to move, right? So if I wanted to move, I use my angles to move it. Right? Or I can divide it, right? Which is, if this is 7 and this is 8, you have, this is 7, you round it off to 3.5 equals a 4, and this is a 4. Or if I want to do an entire group, I could parentheses and do an exponent on it. That means I want to do 2 sets of this twice. Right? Or I can isolate it. So I can use things, I could isolate a beat, or the coolest thing that I can do, does it make sense so far?
Yes, this is great.
Isn't it cool?
This is really dope. This is really dope.
And how about if I want to do more than one person at a time? Can I take you guys in the row with me? Hello! Yes, we can. Do I need to teach you the choreography? No, boo-boo, this is Morris Cole. Booyah! All right, sorry, I'm from the 90s. Okay. So I can create 3 lines, and I can use basic words. Bat, tab, last. Now, I can tell, we can do 3 different, each of us can do the beat at the same time, or we can do it separately. I lined it up so that we can do everything at the same time, as the last person goes slower. It has an extra beat. Does that make sense? So we can do it at the same time. I can double it up. I can do an angle. But wait a minute. Maybe Tariq wants to do an angle, precision, right? I do this. I add my degrees. So in angles,
hard. This is tough.
This is cool. Because once they learn what the codes are, the second component to our program is called angles. And the angles is what allows us to learn what it is. It's called level, direction, and degree. So there's 2 levels of stepping, right? There's a top and there's a bottom. There's a left and there's a right, and there's a 45 and a 90, right? Right. So if you see this written down, my shirt's gonna look like a hot mess out there. If you see this written down, what do you think this is? What's my level?
You said it was a top level. So it's above or top, and then
top
degree angle.
Right. What degree? What level? What direction is this?
Left.
And what degree?
90. Yeah.
Top, right?
Right.
It's top. This is my left, right? I'm doing everything opposite. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this is my top and this is my left, right?
Right.
And this is my 90 degree. Wouldn't this be a 90?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I said 45,
Right.
Right.
and if I
Right.
said
Right.
180,
Right.
Right.
and
Straight
if I
across.
said
Yeah.
bottom,
Right. 90. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
45 is 45. So I'm able to not only do the different directions. So if I wanted to add precision in it, I can do, when we teach kids, we first have them create words. Like we teach them words like blast, abs, things like that. Things that correlates to actual them learning what words are. But if I
Right.
want to do something simple with an angle, this may look difficult, but this right here
Right.
would be this. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the last thing
Fire.
about it, what makes it cool is that once you have it written down, it can change to any sound you want.
Right.
Anything. Because first they learn it on a single hit. And then if, like, let's say I have I'm old 90s. Oh, she wally wally. Oh, she bang. You know that song. Come on. Tariq, you
Yeah,
know
of
that.
Oh
course.
yeah.
I got
Okay,
you. I
come
got
Yeah.
on.
you.
Like, oh, she wally wally. Oh, she bang bang. Oh, she wally wally. Oh, she bang bang. See how you can
Yeah. That's
swatch it?
hard. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
or if it's merengue, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bachata, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. So you can
Absolutely.
take it and think about it. You can choreograph any routine, anytime, send it through Rain and say, hey, this is your beat, and I need you to do it to this sound. You're doing it to the bass, you're doing it to the strings, and you're doing it to the background music. So that's it. Sorry.
Wow. Wow. That
Yo.
was
Yo. Tariq, change the layout. Change the layout real quick.
about to bring it back.
Change the layout. Okay. I got something to say because y'all. Tariq, pull up that social media real quick. Pull up the social
All right.
media.
All right.
Y'all, this is the STEM file. This is the STEM file. The voice of STEM talent in Black culture every Thursday, Saturday, 8 p.m. Your brilliant engineer, Tariq Cardiac, joined by Remo. We are live on Facebook at the STEM Files, YouTube, the STEM Files. Follow us for all of our content updates on Instagram and Twitter at the STEM Files as well. All right, now take it off. All right, yo. Listen, you tough. You real tough. And I'm gonna tell you something. Tariq, my mother is in the chat heavy right
I
now.
see her. I see her.
Tariq,
She's
so
getting
you don't
live
know
with us.
Yes.
yes, my mother taught
There she
ballet and
go.
jazz for years, and my mother is
I
technically
love you,
trained. Yes, yes. So why she gonna text me and say, get up and do it? No, but she just gave a master class about how to teach customizable choreography. Yo, if you don't dance, you really don't understand what that is. And it's so funny when you said how everybody's sampling the 90s. So like my favorite artist right now is Chris Brown, and he's been doing that a lot. It's so funny when you said "Ooh, she walla walla." He did
he's a
that.
goat by now.
He
Yeah.
sampled that very
Yeah.
recently, and it's so funny how you were saying that because that's the thing right now. That's the trend. When I say that everything you just did gave me so much life, and again, going back to what we do on this show, the STEM files, right? Y'all, who told y'all STEM couldn't be fun? Who told y'all
Come on
math
with
could
it.
be fun?
Come on
I
with it.
have I have two math tutees right now, right? I have a sixth grader and I have a seventh grader. And one of the things that's always kind of saddening to me is when our babies, our children, don't understand mathematics and don't think that it can help them in their life. Like, okay, well, what do I need to understand math for? What do I need to understand, algebra or calculus for? See, the first thing you have to understand is math presents a series of problems for which you have to find the solution. In life, you will be presented with problem after problem after problem after problem. I told Tariq the other day, bro, I'm trying to get some new problems. I'm tired of having the same one. I'm not growing. If I got the same
Come to my house.
Right.
Come to my house and solve mines.
right, look, if I got the same problems year after year after year, that means that I am failing as an individual. I'm an engineer. That's what I do for a living. My job is solving problems. So if I'm bad at my job, it means I don't know how to solve the problem. So first, that's the first thing, solve problems, right? So mathematics and STEM teaches you how to think critically and how to problem solve. And whether you are working for yourself or somebody else, you will always need to be able to do that. So thank you so much, Remo, for what you just gave us. That masterclass that you gave us for free, which I know, look, I would pay out the wazoo for that. That was impeccable,
I
amazing.
was thinking
Thank
about
you.
it. Like, we getting this on we don't need Clubhouse. I keep telling you, bro, we don't need Clubhouse. We got it right here. All
Well,
that
let me
free
ask
game
you.
right there.
But you know what's so funny is that it like you mentioned 90s. Literally, like I feel like the 90s was like such a good era. Like
Yes,
it was like
yes.
so like okay, fine. Our parents were sending us to the store to get 40s. I say knives. I'm just kidding. No, my mother would never do that. But I know people who did that. You know what I mean? But it's just like there's so much. It was so fresh. I mean, that's when we were still having the tape. Remember? Cassette tapes, right?
Right, cassette
And it was
tape.
like, yo, when the DJ would play your favorite music, like put it in, record it. We had beepers. Remember 1-800? You would call in, mommy, pick me up. No, I don't accept the call. And like all these, like now it's just so different now these days, you know. But I'm glad I'm telling you, it's genuinely exciting to be around people who love STEM and STEAM, as passionate as I am. You know, I don't, I believe it or not, I don't go to, I haven't gone to really STEM conferences. I've gone to like after school, but I haven't really gone on. A good friend of mine has a PhD in mathematics. She's helped me with some of the equations I want to play with.
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to ask you that. I was about to ask you, like, have you been able to collaborate with mathematicians or people who are very, very fluent in math to kind of help you with your program?
Yeah, you know, I went to a conference in Hawaii once, about 2, 3 years ago. I went there, and this guy came into my workshop, and he was like destroying my system. Like, but why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And you can tell, like, he was obviously an intellect, and he didn't understand. And he was like, and I
Right.
was, and then finally, you know, at the end, probably not the most professional thing to say, and I was like, well, then shut the fuck up and leave my workshop. Like that's how simple it is. Like if you were gonna have
Hey,
an intellectual conversation, you absorb my work. If you don't want to absorb my work and
Mm,
you want to
hey,
criticize,
oh,
then you need to step out because you have an option to be in my room. My room is not open.
that's
Is not.
true.
There's a
wow.
door. You know, I was
That's
like,
true.
Wow.
That's true.
so I was
And
like,
that's a
please.
good point because how do you expect to even talk about something if you can't get into the mix with them? Like that doesn't even make sense. Like you can't tell somebody what they're doing is not is useless if you're not willing to understand it.
And the
Right.
thing is, before you say something is used, like you can't give an opinion on something if you don't hear the information and understand. Because whether
Exactly.
you like something or not, something comes from somewhere. So
Hmm.
Right.
before even I make a decision, I like to approach it like, what were you thinking that you made your decision? Or how do you see things? Because I need to understand your thought process for me to understand how I'm going to answer you. Because then
Right.
I need to know how I'm going to come from. But when that situation happened, it kind of bothered me a little bit. I'm like, whatever. And then my friend who was a PhD, when I first introduced the program to her, she was like, "Oh my god, I love it!" Like she totally loved it. And then I only go for like equations. Like if I told her like, give me the most difficult, like I told, give me like a difficult algebraic equation or something like that. You know, she'll give me some equations, and I'm like, all right, I can see if I can do it with step, and I always figure it out. And my husband is really into like mathematics. He's a finance major.
Hmm.
So he's really good with numbers. Me and him always go into arguments about it. He's like, well, you know, it's not that hard. I'm like, but you didn't think it up, right? You know,
Oh my
like
God.
he's never that impressed by me. He's like, oh, it's only you, it's only you. I'm like, you know,
That's dope. That's dope.
Wow.
Like you said, Tariq, I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, and this is a lesson for everybody listening. I know we have entrepreneurs, we have students listening, enthusiasts, academics, etc. Nobody can really give you insights on where you're going when they have never been. It's like if you have a system, if you have a business, and no one's ever even knowing how to spell the word business, how are they going to counsel you on that? It's like if
well,
you
and
are
you know,
Fact.
married, right,
just
right.
because you have a degree doesn't necessarily think that you're not smart as somebody else. I just
Oh,
elected not to spend $40,000 in loans to get the same
hey,
education where I got from Pablo down the block. Let's be honest. I'm not shitting on anybody with degrees. You know, I know you guys
right,
got your degrees. I have my bachelor's as well. But there's a level, there's different lines of education. Like, you know,
yes,
your mother, you trained in dance, right?
yes,
And your mother supported you.
Yeah, so when I started dancing, I was on a competition team, and I took a class at Philly Movements Dance Company where my mother taught. But then my teachers, my mother never taught me when I was there. But before that, she actually taught me ballroom. So I learned
Oh,
ballroom dance
that's
first,
hard.
and then it varies. And then I went to do different urban styles like break dancing, street funk. So I learned how to pop, do a little break dancing and everything. And then I started competing. And so like and so she would always like she would critique me. She would watch things. She would always kind of give me encouragement and let me understand things. Real like you can like roll your shoulders. I had a hard thing. I would dance because I'm tall. So I would
Yeah.
have to make sure I stood up straight, and I would also have to dance relative to other people. Give energy, give me face, stop looking at the floor, like things like that. She would posture was big with my mother all the time. So
But she taught you. She taught you.
yes, yes,
That
hmm
it's the same thing. So there's certain things you didn't learn in a classroom.
absolutely,
You know,
that's right.
like there's just certain things that you don't. She taught you how to walk into a room. She
Right.
taught you how to understand who you were as an individual and a man before you came into a room, and you didn't walk into a room having somebody define you because your mother defined you.
Yeah,
She
my
gave you
mother and
that
my father.
definition,
I
and
gotta
your
give, I gotta
father.
give it up. Yes,
You
absolutely,
see?
absolutely,
So
yes, right.
I guess that's my point. I'm not knocking, like, I think education is key. You need education. I'm not knocking it. But we have to value all types of education in the classroom and outside
Yes,
the classroom.
yes,
And I
yes.
think that sometimes, when you go into these STEM conferences and you see all these PhDs and everything, and I tell you, I've done probably like 2 or 3 presentations that in the math field, they're like, oh my God, it's so cool. I'm like, I know, but you paid 50,000 for your stuff. I got my. I'm just kidding. I never said
Right.
that. It's just a joke. Terrible joke. Terrible joke.
No, but
You know what I
it's
mean?
facts. It's facts. Like I tell people all the
Terrible.
time, like you said, education and schooling are not necessarily the same thing, or
Mhm.
education and academia rather. There's a lot of things that you can read about and absorb, and through autodidact type learning get. Now, me and Tariq had this conversation all the time where you talk about being qualified to talk about something, which is
Yes,
a very big thing. Just
Lord.
because you have done quote unquote, if you want to call it street corner education, doesn't give you the right necessarily to speak about something. There are certain things, curriculums and testing and things that you have to come across. However, I am always a respecter of humility. When someone literally brings me something humbly, education, and we talk, if it's right. I gotta submit the truth, regardless if it comes from the
Yeah,
mouth of
got
a
to.
babe or the mouth of somebody who's quote unquote not educated by traditional means. So absolutely what you said. But my thing is I understand now I got an engineering degree. And everything that you said made sense to me. Now I'm not the best engineer in the world, but I went through 4 years of
Hey, stop
calculus,
playing. Yes,
and
you
I'm gonna
are.
tell you, I'm gonna tell you, when you broke that down, like my light bulbs was hitting. I was like, yo, this is dope. This is so cool. Like I want to get up and try this right now. We gonna have to get up offline and kind of go on and really kind of go through this step by step. So, Tariq, go ahead and say something. 'Cause I'm talking too much.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Like I'm feeding off of y'all's energy right now. I am eternally grateful for this for our guest tonight and everything that you're bringing to the table. But as Jabril said in the beginning, he was so happy that you're on the show because you can match his energy, right? I'm the
Yes.
exact opposite of Jabril. I'm very reserved. I'm calm. You will never ever see me dancing in public. I don't care what you offered me, what you asked me to do. No matter money, you couldn't pay me enough.
Have you had drinks even with drinks?
No, we don't drink. We don't drink. Like I'm telling you, there's
No.
nothing you could do. There's nothing you
So
could do.
when were you born? What's your sign?
So okay, so let me. I'm gonna give you a foundation real quick. So
Go, give me.
Jabril and I are members of the Nation of Islam, and there's certain things that we
Ah,
don't do or believe in.
oh,
But
got it.
just to kind of give you a picture of, I was both him and I were homeschooled for like 5, 6, 7 years, right? But
No,
I
really?
was, yeah. Can you believe that brother was homeschooled? Can you
No,
believe
really?
that?
Yeah.
You
You
know,
must
so
have drove
every
your
time
mother nuts.
No, but I gotta
we,
tell you. So, like, I'm gonna just say real quick. I'm gonna let Tariq go back.
no,
So,
you good.
my mother is more or less just like me. My father
Um,
is the more reserved parent. So like there were things that he would always say, man, y'all got up there and did that violin concert in front of everybody or did that dance recital. I
Yes,
never
I'm
do
just
that.
like
But
Brother Kyle. I'm just like him.
and my mother pushed me and my brother to do things. So my mother's a social butterfly. She's extroverted. My father, very intelligent, but he's very extroverted with people he knows. So like if it's the
Yes, I gotta
family
know
or
you. I gotta know you.
long term friends, my dad will tell the best jokes. But he get around a large crowd, he's feeling you out.
Woo,
You know what I'm saying? You know
that's
what I'm
dead.
saying?
That's
He's
super
feeling you
dead.
out. So I inherited a lot of like my outspokenness or expertness from my mother. So like growing up, my mother, we did homeschool a little different. My mother had she created a homeschool group of like, black families because
Ah.
homeschooling was a white dominated thing in my area growing up when I was growing up. So I was homeschooled from second to ninth grade. I played basketball, I did martial arts, I played hockey. I went out to different museums. I played
Also,
the
it was like a
violin, so I did a lot of
community. It
stuff.
was a community
Yeah, it was a
homeschool.
community, but she
Oh, that's
schooled me.
awesome.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I transferred to a public magnet school for STEM in 10th grade, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania to pursue engineering after that. So
Oh, hello. He went to UPenn.
yeah,
Hello.
I
He went,
did, I did. So,
hello.
but like
It's like,
I took this
went to
step.
that little school, UPenn.
I went to middle school. So I say all
You
that to
throwing mad
say
shade, like
that I had a different.
You
I had
know,
a
that's huge. She's like, that little school, UPenn. You know how
right?
hard it is to get into UPenn? It's like,
It's harder
just,
Exactly.
now. It's even
so
harder
many
now.
different. I know. Hello.
But
Congratulations. That's
finish your thought,
awesome.
Tariq, because I cut you off, bro.
No, no, you good. You good. I was just gonna say that I'm the opposite of him. So I'm not like I'm like his dad. I'm to myself. If I don't know you, I ain't talking to you like that. We're not gonna have no full blown conversation with somebody I just met yesterday. Like I don't roll like that. Jabril, on the other hand, you can meet him 2 seconds ago. You're out there talking about everything. I can't do that. So I think one of the things I wanted to ask you was how do you teach shy people how to dance? Like, how does your program help people come out of this shell? How have you helped them to see that there's another side to them without them being so reserved and quiet all the time? Because I know you got it in every classroom. There's at least 2 or 3 shy people or quiet people that just like don't try to talk to me. Like I'm not gonna like there's no conversation that's gonna happen here, so don't try. But how has your program been able to break that shell and get them out of that comfort zone?
I think for like, believe it or not, I just so messed up, but I always get like the messed up kids. I never get like my kids are like the best dancers and the best steppers, I think, and they're strong, they're precise, but they come to me like a hot mess, and I'm always like, God, why do you bring this towards me? So I think naturally I grab my gravity is to anyone who has low self-esteem or someone who's trying to find themselves, because I'm very militant. I'm very in your face. Like everything I'm telling you is to teach you a lesson that's like I'm 5 steps ahead. Like, for you, I would be like, stand up straight. When I'm talking, you stand up straight. No, when you walk into a room, the first 5 seconds, somebody's looking at you. And then, I have them look in the mirror, and then right when they're messing up, it's not how you mess up, it's how you recover. Nothing's going to hit you as hard as life. Miss what? Are you asking me or telling me? Because if you're telling me something, you know what you're doing. If you're asking me, think twice before you ask me again.
You know what? The way you talk, that alone would get me out of my shell. I'm just gonna automatically be extra receiving of people when I walk in the room, purely because I don't want Remo on my behind.
Yeah, I'm very like in your face. I'm very like in your face. But I also like, I have them stare in the mirror, and I'm look at you, I have them stare there. Don't even move. You should be using your peripherals and study everything around you. No one needs to see how you move. No one needs to see how you're thinking. You're always 10 steps ahead and 5 seconds ahead, 10 steps ahead of the person that you want to be and 5 steps ahead of the person who's trying to beat you. So if you think of that mentality, you're always ahead. You're studying always your environment. You are the science. You are the maker, the breaker, the taker, and everything in this world. You determine where you want to go and how you want to go. Punto final. And then if you stay yourself in the mirror, then all you worried is about yourself and listening to what I'm telling you. And the minute you get into that stage, the minute you get into life, I guarantee you're going to remember what I'm telling you. And just when somebody's going to tell you something that just hurt you, you're going to step back up like, been there, done that, been told twice. I know exactly who I'm at. And you can't do nothing that Miss Remo has not prepared me for. And I think that's why I go so hard for my kids. I go so hard because I never want somebody to tell them that they're not enough. And that's the hardest thing. Sorry.
Take your time. Take your
No, it's
Sorry.
time.
okay. It's all
No, you
good.
okay.
It's all
You all
good.
right. You all right. Listen,
Sorry.
it's a family show. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
Right.
We done had so many people on this platform, and when I tell you that, like, it's moments like this that makes this show for us, because I think we get more from this show than maybe even the guests get, because to
Yeah.
see our people educate, you know, uh, empathize, kind of reach for the stars with some of their thoughts. There is so much talent out here, and you can bear me witness. A lot of that comes from pain. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? A lot of times, pain is really the mother of creativity. When you've been
Hmm.
through something, you know what I'm saying? When you've seen things, something has happened. Think about some of the best music or your favorite artists have dealt with stuff, right?
That's right.
May Allah be pleased with brother DMX, right?
Right.
DMX was open with his stuff and what
That's
he
right.
went through, and he's a
Right.
legend because of how much his music and his life resonated with a lot of our people. You think about some of the musicians and great, composers of our time and past. You think about the blues. You think about certain dance styles when it gets you to like that feeling. You can't explain it, but it hits you right there, and you start to
That's right.
tears start to run down your face. It's because it resonated. So don't ever apologize for crying, because I'm a sensitive brother myself, and I always felt that there is strength in being able to be vulnerable at times, and also be able to connect with somebody and meet them where they are, and y'all both ascend together. So definitely, I'm thankful for your passion. I know that my parents are going to be calling me right after we're done with this show and talk about how much they enjoyed this, because this has been amazing, bro. It's 50 minutes in.
Yeah, 50 minutes in. We gotta start.
Right.
We gotta and this is the beauty of the show, because we were so wrapped up in the value and the jewels and the gems that are being dropped tonight, that we done forgot that we done did a whole hour already, So
Right, right,
at this time, I think it's good that we start promoting some businesses. Matter of fact, before we
right.
promote any businesses, and we got time because we not on no limit or nothing like that, but I wanted to do something called a social media tap in. And this is where we ask our guests, we pull from their social media and ask them about this picture or about this video. You ready for it?
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right.
Oh,
Let
you
me
asking
pull
me?
it
I
up.
have to tell you what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh, I was like, all right, yeah, like.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to, because we don't want to put nothing on you that you don't want to talk about, because we
Oh, okay,
not
go.
into. Yeah.
No,
All right.
no.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Keep your grills! Follow instructions! Alright, let's see if we have to.
All right, so tell us more about that, because we hear you yelling in the background. We hear the energy. So tell us more about what was going on there.
We are working. So those are the group of kids that have been with me through COVID-19. When
Okay.
our after school programs had shut down, we all, our business almost crumbled. And then these are our kids from our studio that I stood with them through COVID. We've gotten testing. We've just been a lot. I've been through puberty with them. So it's just a lot going on. But in that specific scene, they were working on, we're going to World Dance Championship. We got a bid to compete doing a step routine that's pretty much swept most of the season. I mean, we're like killing it doing a step routine, so we're excited. So they're learning the new choreography, and that's outside of my studio. And they were like, "It's Miss Remo, it's hot." And then I'm like, "Shut up and do it." Hot. I'm tired. When you have a job and you tell me when you're tired when you're paying bills. You ain't tired. You rest. You rest.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why
Oh my God.
you hear them like that, because it was a lot of pollen. But yeah, that's our competition team. That's what we call first company. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. Dope. Wow, wow. Okay, so
But
this
yo,
you
I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you, like, I don't know if it's an engram or if it's just taking me back, but you are literally reminding me of my dance teacher, Miss Danielle, from growing up. Because I remember before we went to Disney World for our showcase, we was dance to you know it's hot in Florida, right?
Yeah.
She had us out in the parking lot, bro, on the on the blacktop doing freezes and stuff. Hold it, hold it. I'm sweating, bro. I'm like, yo, this listen, like, and the thing we got out there with our knee
You
pads
held
and
it though. You
everything.
held it.
I did. Look, I ain't say nothing. I held mine. I was like,
He
look,
was like,
everybody's crying and stuff. I said, look. She gonna have us out all day. We gonna be out here all day. I'm
Oh my
thirsty.
God.
Like, listen, but I'm telling you, you talk about grinding. You talking about like just in the studio, out the studio, getting lines together. You sharp. No, the arms here, not here, not here. Like, you know what I'm saying, Jabril, roll your things back. Jabril, roll your shoulders back. Jabril, roll your shoulders back. Like, but the end product at the end recital at the competition, we never walked away from competition without high gold, platinum, you know what I'm saying, stuff and everything. And her style was strictly high energy facials, you know what I'm saying? I want you to get people out there. So like when you're talking, it's just like literally it puts me in that pocket. So absolutely, that was dope.
flashback.
Yes, yes.
Dope, dope.
Oh man,
Wow. So this has been a great show. We're coming up on that
yes,
hour tip, and we definitely want to promote some black owned businesses that
yes,
we
sir.
are not so much affiliated with, but we definitely support them. One of them we actually affiliated with, the other one we definitely support. So Jabril, tell us about this week's issue of the Final Call newspaper.
Oh, come on now. Absolutely. Let's bring it up. We're going to talk about it. All right. So, family, the Final Call newspaper. If you do not know, this is the flagship newspaper of the Nation of Islam. This is a message dedicated to the resurrection of the black man and woman in America and the world. This is that good news, that pure truth, black owned and operated for you to consume and enjoy. And that issue is we charge genocide. If you want to get your edition digitally, go to www.finalcalldigital.com. That's www.finalcalldigital.com. Also, if you're in the Virginia area or Philadelphia and want to get it from one of your beloved brothers, Jabril or Tariq, make a DM us on social media and we'll be able to do that for you as well. But it's an unmatched newspaper in my humble opinion. I've read different articles in different newspapers. When you talk about having high level content, local, national, international news, spiritual pieces, a section on how to eat to live. How many places you done read teach you how to eat to live? You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing. So definitely get your copy today. And Tariq, what else we got going on?
Yeah, yeah. And first and foremost, I also wanted to let our audience know we will be covered in the Final Call newspaper
Yes,
starting this
sir.
month. Every Friday and Sunday, our team will be covering every episode of the STEM files that we have, and breaking it down to information that can be used in the paper, and you can use it for everyday life or for whatever you see fit. So the STEM files will be in the Final Call newspaper. And we also have a black owned business that we want to highlight. We want to highlight Figures Wireless. This is a black owned tech company. And brother Freddie Figures produces smartphones, he produces earbuds, anything you can imagine, all the smart technology you can imagine, he produces it. So definitely check out his company. It's a link in the description. His smartphone is amazing. I don't use one, but I have held one in my hand and I've experienced how amazing it is. So definitely check it out. If you're not interested in Samsung or iPhone or LG, this is definitely an alternative for you. And it's black owned. So to me, that's really all it takes. And of course, it has to work. But
Right. It
it's a
gotta
great
work.
product.
Yes,
It
sir.
has to work. It's a great product. Definitely check out the link in the description. Jabril?
Awesome. Yes, sir. Family, we have been thoroughly fed. Energy was high. The passion was felt. And we were taught that art of
Yes.
stepping system
Yes.
is impeccable, top notch. thank you so much for blessing us tonight, Remo, with going through that step by step and really breaking it down and showing the beautiful marriage of movement and mathematics. I'm gonna say that again.
That's
I like
right.
how that sounded. Thank you for
I
Movement
did.
and
showing
Let
us
me
mathematics.
write that.
the
Let me write that down.
the marriage of movement and mathematics. With that, family, we've approached that time. Your brilliant engineer, Tariq Cardiac. Remo, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with that you may not have already said you want to reinforce? And then we want to put up some information so people can know how to get in touch with you.
I just want to thank you guys. I think that you're such an important platform. You're my first. I've done TV work. I've been signed to networks.
Okay.
Yeah, done
Nice.
in TV, MTV True Life or whatever. But you guys, and I don't let people in. I never do interviews unless I control or own 51%. So I control my brand.
I feel you.
But
That's right.
I
That's
but
feel
there
you.
right.
was something about this interview, like when you contacted us, and then it just felt so organic and just such a great fit. And I truly want to say thank you for this platform, and thank you for allowing me as a woman of color to share what I do and my passion. Thank you to your mom for the shout outs I saw. That was awesome. But
Yes.
Yes.
thank you for what
Yes.
you guys are doing, because it really is impactful, and representation really does matter at this time. And it's great to see. It's great to see myself in you. And I thank that for you, and thank you for the opportunity. I hope we get to do many more in the future.
Yes.
Oh
Yes. We
yeah.
definitely will.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
How can how can the audience
Oh,
contact you?
You can visit artofstepping.com, or you can go to the house. You can go to you can follow us on IG, Art of Stepping, or Studio AOS Dance Studio. We're actually, our studio is international, so you can take classes virtually from Colombia, Peru, West Africa, and the United States. So you can go to AOS Dance Studio. You can go to OPB Foundation, which is our non-for-profit arm for scholarships for women to give back. And if you want scholarships, if you want information of planting seeds, or if you just want to volunteer in the foundation, you can. It's a great opportunity to give back to the community and really share your love with the world. How important STEAM, and especially seeing women in STEAM and recognizing them around the world, because we're present, and we're just
Oh,
not
most
being seen
definitely.
as we should.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Definitely present. Wow. So once again, family, thank you all for tuning in. This has been another edition of the STEM Files. We are the voice of STEM talent and Black culture. That includes our Brown family, our
That's come on. Talk about it.
Latinx family, Jabrilian engineer, Tariq Cardiac. We are on all four of these social media platforms: Facebook, the STEM Files; YouTube, the STEM Files; Instagram, the STEM Files; and Twitter, the STEM Files. Also, we will be coming to all of your podcasting, streaming services very soon. We're talking Anchor, Spotify, any podcasting service you can think of. We'll be on all of them. So definitely follow us. Matter of fact, I hear some stepping now. Is that what I hear?
Oh, you want me to close out with a step? You want me to close out
Hey,
with a
yeah,
step?
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Let me
yes,
hold on.
absolutely. Take us
Let me change
home.
the
Take us
layout.
home, Remo.
Hold up. Let me change the layout.
Yeah.
Okay. You're really making me do this. All right, I can do this.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
See the logo?
I see it. I see it.
She got to move the stuff out the way you know it's about to be on.
Right.
Ready? Oh. I'm going to bring the headphones down so I don't drop them. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
That was
All right.
the first
Dope.
circle move and the roll was everything. The first circle, the sky move, and then the roll. Listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel that tonight.
That was great. Family, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been the STEM Files, the voice of STEM talent and Black culture. Brilliant engineer Tariq Cardiac, Remo. Until next
Thank you, guys.
family. If you want to support us on a monthly basis as we're growing our platform, stay tuned for updates on social media. We're letting you know how to do so as we grow our platform and become our community. So until next time, family, support the STEM Files on Cash App, hashtag the STEM Files. That's hashtag the STEM Files on Cash App. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
All right, family. Peace. As a matter of fact, hold up. And I forgot to do this, but we actually have another episode this coming Saturday. We'll be talking with the HBCU STEMmer. She uses people, students and professionals in STEM to help do a 5K and a 10K race. The 5K and the 10K race helps to promote STEM. And she does that by contacting HBCUs to help facilitate that. So stay tuned. So definitely stay tapped in for information on that show. We'll be dropping it this Friday, tomorrow. And that show will be Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So stay tapped in for that, okay? All right, Jabir, you can close out now. My bad.
All right. Now, this has been the STEM Files. All right. The
Right.
last time we closed out, it was like a moss meeting. Closing out for the last time, family. The brilliant engineer, Tariq Cardiac, joined by the lovely, wonderful, dynamic Remo. Peace. Love y'all.
Peace.